Welcome to the Arsenal Armchair Podcast, episode 3. You wait 22 years and then they come around like flipping buses, don't they? I hope you're all well today, Gooners. Looking fresh-faced and beautiful on the first day of summer. It's June the 1st as we go to press. On the Arsenal calendar this month, we've got Jurriën Timber and Gabriel Martinelli. Looking absolutely gorgeous. Maybe you caught them yesterday on the parade. Maybe you saw a bit of them on the weekend. Today's show, just a bit of a recap on the Champions League final that went down on Saturday. And then also some highlights from the parade that I was fortunate enough to get to yesterday. And I think most of North London and perhaps most of, I don't know, the south half of England seemed to all be in and around the streets of Arsenal yesterday. And it was just a joyous day. Celebrations when we will touch on some of that in the show today. And if you're watching on YouTube, then we'll just put a montage of some of those clips because it was just I'll tell you something, I don't mind telling you, I just was never a massive fan of the parades in the past. I'd been to quite a few, and it's always the next day, isn't it? It was always on like a Sunday, so you couldn't get too trolleyed, and fun, but meh. So I wasn't like, I knew I had to go yesterday, but I wasn't like dead excited. But I was excited to be able to just carry on the buzz and to carry on the excitement, because the last, 2 weeks, it's just been crazy. We unexpectedly won the league like 2 weeks ago to Mozza on a Tuesday night, and impromptu celebrations at the ground, and then able to continue that properly after we were crowned champions against Crystal Palace. And then obviously we knew the Champions League final was coming up, so that was another day to get hyped and excited about, but was able to keep myself measured and checked and just not get too excited by it all. Was definitely gutted on Saturday night, but I suppose waking up on Sunday knowing that we had the parade then was this extra beacon of excitement. It's just getting up that morning, I had a bit more of a spring in my step, pushed myself to go to the gym on a Sunday, I know. And then on the way back, I was starting to see people in their shirts already, people queuing at bus stops and things, and it just got me completely psyched and into the zone again. So I bicycled from mine in Hornsey across up Whiteman Road, which in a car is tricky. On a bicycle, flipping heck. But I was in and amongst a peloton of other gooners. There were a couple of girls on Lime bikes in Arsenal shirts, and they all sort of had different shirts on, which was really nice. And we sort of all rode together, and then across Finsbury Park, the melee just starts to kick off massively, and crossing Seven Sisters Road, where you can kind of see the 12 pins and the top of Blackstock Road. It was balmy already. And then I rode parallel to Blackstock Road and got to the end, and the barriers were there and there was a ton of people already in place. So I had to just get off my bicycle and find a lamppost to tie it to, and then meander over to my mum's on foot. And the streets were just alive and wild, and people getting trolleyed already, and just a fun atmosphere, people just honking horns, and the flares were out again, and just I guess all that buzz from the week before, it just reminded me of all of that. So maybe my feeling a bit glum after the Champions League, it was just all erased so quickly. And we found a really neat spot. We were just off of, I think we were on Mount Grove Road, perhaps. So we're just off of Blackstock Road, where it chucks, I guess the bus was turning left. We went down the street, and there was a group of about 5 or 6 slightly older ladies who were at the barrier on stools and deck chairs, which is a brilliant place to be, because if you're next to, they then formed a new barrier. If you're next to people at the front, then you can squeeze a lot of people in. If there's some people at the front who are a bit elderly and have a bit more decorum about themselves, they command more of the space, and it's just less pushing and less jostling. And whilst Mark from Race Across the World was just hanging out as part of the gang, so that was nice to meet a minor celebrity. I don't watch the show, but me mum was excited, and so was Nige, so it was fun to be around a minor celebrity whilst waiting for the main action to commence. We were there from around midday. it's probably a good time to get there, because every time I turned around, suddenly there was like more and more people, and then you almost couldn't see out because it was beyond us. There was so much, so many people had filled in, and just endless Arsenal chants, just, you know, murmuring away and bubbling up. Opposite us, there were some young kids, and they really loved, I think it might have been the first opportunity that they were allowed in life, and they were probably too young to do this, but they were starting a lot of the "What do you think of Tottenham" chant, which is quite rude. It contains some swear words, and these were kids under 10 starting that chant with their parents sort of happily waving them on. So maybe it was a kind of coming of age thing for them. And occasionally people would bring out speakers and like start playing some of our tunes, like maybe play the Kai Havertz song or play North London Forever, and just the rapturous... Yes, like if you're in the pub, obviously that's great. When you experience it in the ground, it's amazing. But to experience it then on like the streets of North London, where everyone's out in their Arsenal shirts, was just glorious. And people hanging out of windows and just shimmying their way into, people climbing lampposts. Just any and every piece of space was taken up by people in all sorts of Arsenal shirts. Just the smile on people's faces. The parade itself probably didn't last that long. It was probably over in a bit of a flash, but then I guess came even more excitement, because as soon as the bus had gone past with first the men's team and the women's team, excited to see them, and a couple of other buses, then the route was open for people to just walk the parade route. So we got on, basically Blackstock Road, and then we walked from there all the way up to Clissold Park, past Newington Green, all the way up Essex Road, back then to Upper Street, doubled back to Highbury Corner, and eventually back to the ground. And the whole way it was just wild carnival atmosphere, just people leaning out of their houses, and like various little sound systems going off, people selling drinks on the street, people like, it was like Notting Hill Carnival, like people charging a fiver to go into their houses to go and use their facilities. Just, you know, the parade came past and I'd watch that as a spectator, and then to like walk the route and just to see everyone still kind of out waving now as us in the parade route as the procession was just amazing. And the scale of it was hard to comprehend. Just quite, I guess, a couple of miles. The route must have taken in, 4 or 5 miles worth of streets, and both sides of said streets just packed out with gooners absolutely everywhere. There was not like a free bit of space that wasn't occupied by loads of people hanging their shirts on washing lines, which is a lovely touch. And just funny names on the back of shirts. I think that might be my new thing, just taking pics of people's personalised shirts. Or this really young couple, one had 14 Henri and the other one had 14 Gyökeres, and just funny shirts, or just people as players, as their favourite player. Just loved seeing it. And on the corner of like Newington Green, or as you're approaching Clissold Park, there was a geezer with an Arsene Wenger mask on, just like kind of like raving at the window, and it was just so funny to picture Arsene raving at the window. It was great. It was glorious, and just a momentous day. It's left me with a bit of a spring in my step today. Rode in with my Arsenal shirt again. I'll probably continue doing that for the next little while at least. On Vinted, it says my order has been dispatched, so hopefully next time I see you, I might be wearing my new shirt, my new jersey. That'll be fun. And I guess between now and the Charity Shield at the start of August, I suppose we just live through the World Cup. All the Gooners going on to international duty, we go and support them collectively together, and just bask in the glory of Arsenal overseas for the next couple of weeks and months, until I suppose the fixture list will come out first, won't it? We'll be able to then see who have we got on the opening day, who have we got on Boxing Day, when are we playing the Spuds, who have we got on the last day of the season. That's the procession of a football fan. Like, you know, you have this, for us, this high that's been the end of the season, this like massive climax, and now we've got to wait for a bit for it to come round again. So I can't say, like, I watched the final in the pub on Saturday night, and that's the first match that I've watched in a pub for ages. I think with the exception of the North London derby, though, I'm just going to stick to being the armchair. I mean, this is the Arsenal Armchair Podcast, and I just think when I'm watching it on the telly, I can listen in more depth to the commentary and what they're saying, because obviously in the pub you can't hear that so well. And even just seeing the screen properly, I think I was just like squinting a bit, like, who's that bloke there? It takes a while to sort of learn the formation when you're watching it in the pub, because like you're always a bit like craning your neck a little bit, and maybe I just need to choose a better pub. I was at the pub in Wood Green, and it was okay. It was a good atmosphere. It was busy as heck. Plentiful gooners in there. But there were a few bloody Spurs fans in there as well, weren't there? I think there was some PSG fans near us, which they were just keeping quite quiet. But I think if I'm going to watch the footy in the pub, I only want to be around gooners. So got to explore Crouch End, see what's going on, and then obviously, if I want to go a bit more hardcore, then I'll pop up to Finsbury Park, which, yeah, for some of the bigger games I might. But I need a local round the corner from where we are today. Bringing you the show today from the studio here in Bethnal Green. You've got the Hare on Cambridge Heath Road, which is an amazing Arsenal pub. Quite old school boozer with sort of like built-in seats / tables around the side, and then just a big screen at the front, screens all around, and just a really good atmosphere. I think the landlord is a gooner, and pretty cheap on the beers as well, and you can bring your own food too, which makes the whole day out a little bit easier if you're going to spend a bit of extra time. So shouts to the Hare on Cambridge Heath Road, and shouts to I don't know, the Gunners looked like it was absolutely going off riotously yesterday. Big ups to the Tollington team. I know you're always where the action is at, and also then to the 12 Pins. It's always been a great pub for me, for my enjoyment of Arsenal matches. So I hope you enjoyed it where you were, and I hope you weren't too crestfallen after Saturday night. Couldn't have got any closer, really. I suppose the takeaway that we're all probably thinking is perhaps, in games like that, and they're not going to get any harder, it's sure thing, we defended amazingly, but yeah, we just needed a bit more of an attacking threat, and a bit, once we got the ball back off of PSG, which didn't happen often, we needed to kind of do something. But you never, we haven't played a team like that all season, and they're the best team in club football right now, so it's not often that you're going to compete with a team that's that as of that standard. But now we know where to raise the bar to, and just thinking about some of the players that we signed in the summer, Madueke's only been deputy for Saka when he's been injured this season. So maybe next season. We know we can't put as many minutes into our top players because they're just not going to be able to perform as consistently, and hopefully Madueke can then be just a bit more of a staple in the team, because when he came on Saturday, he did make a difference. He was direct, and he was sharp, and he was getting at him, and he probably should have got a penalty. And yeah, perhaps the same for some of the other just offensive players, perhaps just the rotation. I don't know, I guess Havertz, he barely featured this season, but he did have an impact. Since he's been back, he's been regularly getting on the score sheet and scoring crucial goals like he did on Saturday night, and he's a classy player, and you've got to think him and Gyökeres will rotate a bit more next season. Eze, I think we're yet to see anywhere near the best of him, and he's been he's shone in so many ways, just scored some absolute worldies. Turns it on when he wants to and when he needs to. He's absolutely run Spurs ragged twice this season, and we can hope for more of that next season. And I suppose on the left, that's probably the area that we're gonna look to recruit and reinforce. And I think Trossard's had perhaps more consistent season than Martinelli. He had a really good purple patch to Trossard, and while he doesn't contribute massively to goals, he's definitely goal involvement. He's up there, and his ability to hold up the ball and link up play. And then Martinelli, was he our top scorer in Europe or second top scorer? You can't really rule either of them out. I mean, if you're going to flog one of them, you're probably going to get a better return for Martinelli, or let Trossard go on a slightly cheaper. But I think the left-hand side definitely needs reinforcement, and Lewis Skelly's been phenomenal since he's popped up now, so we probably need someone else in the middle, do we? Or like for like, who's Declan Rice's like? Who's his like natural deputy? Do we start to play Lewis Skelly and Zubimendi a bit together? Is Marino like the Declan Rice character? I guess because Rice covers so much distance. Like when he tracks back and the tackles that he puts in his work rate, he's like always there as the last guy. He's always there. And then going forward, we know he's deadly with the set piece and also just from shots just outside of the box. He can be completely lethal. So, you know, when you've got world-class players like this, it's hard to find replacements that could. But I guess that's what the summer's going to be all about. So all of that to come. Hope you're well. Hope you're marvellous. Hope you're doing good. Hope there's a spring in your step today. Slightly shorter version, but I just wanted to get this out because it felt... Just yesterday was so great, and I want to share this footage. I want to put it out there to you. If you didn't get down to see it, then you can hopefully get a slice of the action through some of this audio, through some of these vids, and soon to be populated Instagram page. It's on the way, don't you worry, son. So whatever you're up to today, Gooners, you hold your gorgeous head up high, and we'll see you on the next one.